Now, one of the issues in Lagos is the fact that it's an urban sprawl, it's a big economy and all of that. You've been involved in part of the efforts at economic engineering. Yet, Lagos still has a huge problem with traffic, with also getting goods in and out of our ports and so on and so forth. Now, it's one thing to have economic engineering, it's another thing to make life easy for people, especially in the areas of transportation. Are there innovative ways that can really reduce this problem? Because it seems that these things are getting more and more as the city is getting bigger and bigger.
Well, thank you very much, Sam. You know, it's not peculiar to Lagos alone. All urban megacities have some of, the challenges we have. But the issues, how well do you quickly solve your own issue? How well do you plan? How well do you front load those issues so that you can proactively react when it happens? The first T on my project team is actually traffic management and transportation. And that's how important it is to us. That's how germane we've seen. That's how we're looking at it so frontally. And part of the things that we've realized, even while on the campaign trail, we've discovered over 53 or 57, where it's still work in progress, traffic gridlocks in Lagos. And each one of these traffic gridlocks have peculiar issues that, gridlock number 7 does not necessarily have to have the same metrics with gridlock number 27, right? So we're studying each and every one of them, right? And we're thinking of solutions that can put permanent, resolutions to them. But some, like we've seen, some could have low-hanging solutions. It could be as easy as, like I've said in some other fora, reducing the roundabouts. There are massive roundabouts all around the city. Reducing the roundabout in some localities, in some areas, right? In some areas, it could just be introduction of traffic lights. And that's some of the things that's causing the gridlock. Yes, introduction of traffic light. In some areas, it could be just introduction of what I would call a slip road or a lay-by, because people are making a right or a left turn, right? And there is actually no access for them, and the straight road is free, but you cannot make it. So some of the lay-by or setback or need, we just need to widen it up so that people that need to make a turn can make the turn. But more importantly, to solve the traffic is also to do a lot of advocacy. A lot of, information needs to go around. We need to put a lot of road furniture on the streets, directional signs, lane marking, and all of those details. And now we need to do a lot of advocacy. Preaching and telling people, how to behave. You are not the only road users, how to respect other road users, right? How to ensure that patients sometimes, you can solve a lot of these hiccups and bottlenecks, just by mere 30 seconds, 45 seconds patient, right? That's another one. Another one is to look at, some other corridors where you have huge number of petrol stations and you have a huge number of eateries, right? Each and every of the buildings you see in those places, everyone is like a traffic warning, stopping roads, stopping vehicle at, at every 1 minute and just breaking the flow of traffic. So what we've seen in some areas, we're going to be doing some of the things we've seen done in developed nations, where we'll be marking double yellow lines, single yellow lines, and we need to be communicating what those things mean. Some of those yellow lines means that you cannot just make a U-turn on the road. You need to get to a turning, off the main road, and you go and turn in a slip road and come back again. But it's a lot of education that comes to it, because you are going on a road that is smooth, and you want to turn to your house, and you just apply the brakes, and 20 cars they've applied the same. Little things like that are part of the things that are brought about, the traffic issue. But more importantly, for a mega city like ours, and that's why we need to go to transportation, we need to have means of moving people, large mass movement of people. So that's why we must ensure that we quickly complete the rail project we're doing. We fast-track development and new investment in water transportation, right? And we continue to put new investment in road transportation. All of the three of them needs to work together at some point in time. And that's what is going to encourage, people dropping, their vehicles. Because what you see, Steve, you can do a sample. A lot of people are single person in a car every morning, right? So it's concept of pulling.
Carpooling, yeah.
We need to do it. And that's what the rail does. That's what the waterways do, is pulling. right, where a single vehicle takes about 20, 30 people as against 20 different vehicles, right? So it's a combination of all of that, right? Lagosians need to be a bit patient with us, but we are facing and we're looking at the front end. And we're doing the study. I've been to all the toll plazas we've around. I've been there personally to see what is going wrong. You know, I've been to the waterways, right? I'm taking another trip there next week to see what is going on there, right? So we're not just talking about it in our office. We're actually going to the streets, you know, and we're changing, you know, and we're doing on-the-spot assessment. You know, and I dare say, if you permit me, that part of the innovation, even when I was in government, right, and we went out and we were able to solve it, was the underpass in front of Muson Center. You know, years back, people used to, when you come down, used to go in front of Nitel to go and turn to go to Victoria Island. But I was the one that brought up the idea then. I said that, let's go try it. Underpass that just takes you to, those are the kind of solutions that, you know, can ease off immediately. It just eases. So we need to begin to look for little solutions like that. So we're going around the city to look for places where we can have a shortcut, we can break, you know, the ice. And like I said, we also need to talk to ourselves. So we'll do a lot of advocacy, and I'm sure you will also help us.
What of Apapa?
You know, it's a big one. It's a big one, Sam, and I'm not about just, you know, it's an issue that both ourselves and the federal government need to sit down and put a solution to this permanently. And just to mention to you, I've seek to meet with the Controller of Works for Lagos State. I've actually put a call to him. I'm meeting with him next week. You know, these bridges cannot carry these dead loads that are sitting on it on a day-to-day basis, right? So we need to have the conversation with them. How do we need to get these things out? I'm aware that the state government has identified, you know, a piece of land. I don't know how quickly we can get that, you know, get that going, to be available where the trailers can move, you know, to a location like that. But I'm also aware that there's a new concessionaire. I mean, well, maybe not new, but I hear that all the places where they used to park and the port, they've closed down the place. They're not allowing them to park there again. We need to ask, what are the questions? Ask MP, what happened? Is it because they're doing the rule that they cannot allow them to park inside the port again? All these trailers were somewhere before. Sam, they were somewhere with it 2-3 years ago. How did they just all of a sudden, you know, appear? You know, and so I'm taking the conversation to them. Let's sit with MPA. Let's with the Federal Controller of Works, because it's not only a Lagos State issue. It's a federal. These are all federal bridges, right? And they cannot fold their arms, you know, and just not do anything. But I know my citizens are suffering. Lagosians are the ones that are, you know, in the lower side of it. And there are some companies, you know, that will see that they're also involved. So all of us needs to roll off as it. But I'm aware that they said they've started, you know, the construction of the road, but for how long? How quickly can that, you know, be done so that we can bring immediate relief, you know, for our people?
Also, many people talk about is the fact that a lot of these trucks that are in town, they have no definite staying period where their activities are needed in the port. So they just need to have some kind of arrangement where if you don't have any business within the next 2 weeks, there's no reason why you should be in this.
Those are the kind of conversations we need to have. But, you know, they're always very quick to also say that they're going to join with no paying and they're going to go on strike, you know all those soft issues. So instead of just making a blanket decision, I think we need to let's sit together and understand what are their own issues, what are their concerns, and say that, you know, we cannot turn to a lawless set of people. You know, we just have to be able to solve, because it has a lot of security issues, it has a lot of health issues, you know, it has a lot of environmental challenges, and people's life are dependent on this. So we need to have very hard conversations with them, and right where we're even still on this campaign trail, we will continue to have that engagement with them. Right? I don't have all of the powers right yet, but at least we can open up conversation, which we have started, you know, with them.
What of rural Lagos? People say there's still a lot. I mean, Lagos now is one of the fastest growing metropolis in the world, with people trooping in virtually every minute, not just to visit, but to stay. Yeah, so it means that it throws into relief the importance of rural Lagos. There's still a lot of work to be done in rural Lagos. Infrastructure, housing, and all of that. how does theme accommodate this?
Well, it does actually, and I say that you know, there's not a lot of rural as in rural in Lagos, you know, because what that means is that you can go and get a land cheap anywhere. No, everybody is wising up. You know, Lagos size is just less than a percentage of this country, right? And you know that every part of the state is important. In fact, it's becoming a global mega city, and it's sprawling and it's developing up into Ogun State and all of it. So part of the things that we intend to do, right, is to be able to open up new corridors, open up new development zones, right, in the so-called rural, you know, and open up opportunities. Industries must be able to go far down into Odogion. They must be able to go to Igbobo. They must be able to go to, you know, further down to areas like Ishiwo and all of it. They must be able to go on the Badagry corridor as well, right? And before you get to the Badagry town, all of our cities, you know, all of the land on the left there, after Agbara, we must be able to open new corridors. When we open new corridors there, then development will come there in terms of industrial development, right? So our plan, right, first is to, you know, look at what is the land template in this area, you know, how much of it, you know, has been committed, right? Because land is like our own derivation, and how much of it has been committed, you know, and how can we quickly give titles, you know, to them where they're not committed, and how can we encourage ease of doing business so that communities, you know, can open up, you know, businesses can go there, right? It's only when businesses go there that commerce, it will attract commerce, you know, it will attract development, housing, you know, and all of it, because
lifestyle.
Exactly. It goes to nowhere if there is no, you know, because the concept about development now universally is work, live, and play. And that's what we need to imbibe. There's no point somebody, you know, given even all of our traffic challenges, that you stay somewhere and you need to commute an hour, 2 hours to go to your place of work. If you are currently there now, we can understand. But we need to begin to develop cities that has all of that. You can work there, you can live there, and you can do all of your recreations around there. So, and that's how developments are happening globally, you know, everywhere in the world.
Autonomous communities.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so that they can be self-sufficient and self-reliant. You know, and that's the plan that we're putting on the table.
The issue of refuse in Lagos, the past a year and a half, has come to great distress of many people, and that has to do with the whole issue of the restructuring of the refuse disposal program, which led to a lot of complaints and a lot of pile-up of refuse. What are you going to do with it in spite of the various agreements that it seems that the government has been committed?
Well, I mean, like you said, I don't know the details of the commercials, you know, that have been committed, but I'll tell you something. We are not going to throw away the baby and the bathwater, right? We also understand to a very large extent what sanctity of contract should be all about. But if we see that value has not also been transferred, has not been given where it's meant to be given, we will have that conversations and we'll look at it properly. But in terms of waste and waste management itself, it's for all of us to look at the entire global chain of waste management, you know, and take the conversations right from where it should start from, which is generation. You know, waste management is like power. It starts from generation, you know, to transmission, you know, to the management of it, which is now the waste to wealth, you know. And so for us, one of the things we'll be talking about is how do we ensure that from your kitchen, from my kitchen, we begin to do waste sorting. We begin to do waste sorting. You know, blue bag for bottles, yellow bag for plastics, and maybe black bag for organic waste.
Yes.
Once we begin to do that, collection will become a lot easier. People will be interested, absolutely, people will be interested to put investment into waste to wealth. Because studies have shown that between 25 to 30% of the cost of any waste to wealth infrastructure, right, collection or sorting usually takes a significant part of that, about 25 to 30%. So if you can help bridge that, and you have sorted from your kitchen, from your very lovely kitchen, and you have sorted from that, then collection becomes, once they pick the bottle, you know that in your blue bag, everything there is bottle. Once you pick the yellow bag, you know that everything there is plastic. People that require them and need them for recycling and all of it just comes, you know. And so advocacy is also, we need to be heavy in it, you know. So we need to be able to talk to even our socio-cultural belief, take these conversations to our churches, to our mosques, to our community centers, to our town hall meetings, you know, to everywhere where we need to schools, so that people will know that that is how we can begin the waste management. We don't need to take everything to transfer loading station where they will now begin to scavenge it and begin to spread it around before it gets to, you know, to the dump site. And we need to now try and develop what we call a proper sanitary landfill site. You know, a proper sanitary landfill site, you know, that can deal with issues around combustions and rest, and will not begin to see fumes and all of it. So we treat the landfill site very well. So that is the whole value chain of waste management. So we must encourage waste collectors in terms of waste to wealth, whatever it is they want to do, you know, turn it back to resins, turn, you know, the bottles back and reuse them, clean them up, you know, and the ones that are organic waste, they could be turned to fertilizer or whatever it is, you know, and that's how you manage, you know, your waste. So it will be all of us speaking to it, but we need to do a lot of advocacy, take it back to school. And I said to my people that let's even think through how do we even incentivize people that comply? Instead of coming up with a sanction, you know, can we think through a program where if you, Sam, you know, complies, we'll give you some incentive to ensure that you become, you know, an advocate, and you become, you know, a convert, that you talk about it, that, no, this is what I'm doing, and I have started complying. It will make life a whole lot easier for us. And so you see the lawman of this world now coming out and clear up the highways, right? And I dare say that, you know, that the PSPs are also back, you know, so they're doing a whole lot of backlog, you know, they are working 24/7 just so that they can clear up the backlog. But in terms of a final solution must bring about a comprehensive thought-through waste management program that must start with waste sorting. That's how we can solve it comprehensively.
Well, we can go on and on and on, but I have to ask this question about the land use charges, which have created a lot of ripples in the land. What are you going to do about them?
Well, I mean, it's always very easy to talk, you know, and to say that I'm going to cut it off, I'm going to reduce it, I'm going to abolish it. No, it's a legal thing. It is something that has come up about some legal provision. We are studying it. I've looked at it, and I think that it's something that we can review positively, right? I think it's something we can review positively, right? We can continue to have positive engagement, you know, with all of the stakeholders and players in it, you know, such that it will become a win-win situation. And that I can assure you that we'll resolve it positively, right? I mean, I don't have exact numbers as to how it will trade out, because like I said, it's something you need to internalize and be well schooled in it. You know, I'm not just going to throw numbers at anybody, but it will be positively resolved, and our stakeholders will be happy with the resolutions that will come out of it.
Well, viewers, you have heard the APC governorship candidate for Lagos State, Babajide Sanwoolu, who has been very animated in discussion, sometimes like a wonk. So, thank you very much for being on this show.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching the program today. You can catch up with my published columns and articles on my website, www.samomashaye.com. Also follow me on Twitter. My handle is @SamOmashaye. Enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, be good.